we're going to begin with an introduction to the company, what services we have and our facilities. And secondly, we'll pass on to more practical part. Buy, sell, some of this interface to the right, some here on the left we're going to cover as well. Any capital markets and trading information disclosed in this webinar is provided for informative purposes only. It should not be construed or applied as an investment advice, recommendation, or a suggestion. I'm going to go ahead and say that the webinar is recorded. So even if there were parts that you didn't feel fully understood, still you can go to our YouTube channel and then you can review it later on with ease, the recorded version. You can also determine on YouTube the speed of what you're watching, so you can slow it down. Maybe it will be easier for you. I see people raising their hands, and that's completely fine, but I would like somebody to comment that the sound is okay. Okay, I'm really bothered by that because it's important for me that the sound is in a proper level for everyone. You can use the question section for that. Okay, we got a positive response from Natalia, Mitchell, very good. All right, perfect. So let's carry on with ease. I just want to make sure that everything is as it's supposed to be. Okay, I'll be back in a bit and then we will begin. Thank you very much. Yeah, so we are back and everything seems aligned. As I said, my name is Danny. This is a live webinar, the beginners online trading. We're gonna hit the road. Before we will begin, I would like us to write down just a few things, okay, so we can carry on with ease. All right, the webinar is going to be happening on the web trader. This is actually a platform embedded in through the browser. So all I have to do to get to here is basically to log in with my email and password. Okay, I don't have to download, I don't need to install anything, it's just how it is. If it doesn't look this way, you can contact the customer service. Okay, it's right here at the bottom left, and it's very easy to apply. All right, so to begin with, as many of you know, we exist since 2006. We are a regulated company. We have 9 licenses worldwide. As I said, if there are any queries or questions, the customer service is right here at the bottom left. They're accessible via the chat or through cs@avatrade.com. Okay, they're going to assist you with everything related to the customer service queries. And for the trading queries, we have a senior account manager. The requests for a senior account manager are getting very popular, and the reason is an account manager, a senior account manager, can assist you with everything related to trading, everything's related to calculations, risk money management, the plan, strategy, and so on. Okay, and you can get one when you're making a deposit and your account is ready to move. Okay, then you can check your eligibility through the customer service unless it's going to contact you before. Okay, so as I said, this is the web trader. We're going to mention the other platform as well, just to know that we have them. So obviously we have the MetaTrader 4 and the MetaTrader 5. Unfortunately, most of the features that I'm going to show you are on the web trader and the AvaGo. Unfortunately, the interface we have here is slightly different in MT4 and MT5. You can find many things here, it can be helpful, which we're going to cover in a bit. Okay, beside that, we have Ava Social and Ava Options. We're not going to teach you options today in this webinar. It's irrelevant to talk about it too much, but I'm going to tell you that the app itself is quite remarkable, and whoever is trading options or ever wanted to trade options, this is highly something that I would recommend. Ava Social, what it does, actually it's very beneficial for beginners, so I'm just going to say a few words about it as well. So on Ava Social, what you can do, you have 2 ways that can assist you. You have some lists of traders. When you're going to download the app, you're going to see that, and you'll be able to either follow or copy, or just monitor, to be honest. Now, follow means you're going to get notified with trades or of the one that you're following. And by being notified, it's up to you either to take the position similarly or not. In other words, it means that you're following somebody. You can follow his steps and execute his positions as he is doing, or you can keep it in your sheets and maybe sculpt your own strategy or whatever else you want. To copy somebody means that this process happens the same, but automatically. So I'm still going to get notified, and it will execute the positions automatically. Okay, just like following somebody, but it happens automatically. I can be sipping tea at work, and it will work by itself. I do recommend to make some adjustment, and how can I say that? Make sure that your balances are computable and that everything seems right. Don't just jump. I wouldn't just copy somebody without doing some preparations. Okay. Yeah, that's give or take about those. I don't think I should proceed explaining about those. Let's just dive into this interface and finish with the intro so we can get down to the business. The first thing that I'm going to show you, as I said before, it's not something that unfortunately you can find on MT4 and MT5. This is the signal section here to the left. By clicking here, I don't know if you see there are double brackets here, and then there is lightning icon here, which I'm going to click. And then it's going to take me to the signal section, all lined up by time linear production time. And just by scrolling down, I don't know if you can see the toggle here. Unfortunately, it's blue, and the interface is blue, so it's not easy to find. See, there is a toggly thing here. Anyway, I can scroll down with a wheel on my mouse as well. It does the same thing, up and down, or through the toggle. And I can simply pick whatever I want. As you can see, there are certain things here. Okay, let's just take one of the signals to play with. Let's say gold, not really. Let's go with USD ZAR. When was that? That was recently. Let's go with something from the commodities instead. Right, so first I'm going to explain to you just the idea of how this webinar is produced and how it can help you, and then we can carry on with ease. And I'm also going to explain to you why this webinar is looking like that. Okay, let's click it and see what happens. Right, so every signal has its prior analysis based on support and resistance, which is among the umbrella of technical analysis. Okay, maybe I should, you know what, let me just write it down quickly. There are two kinds of analysis, right? Technical analysis and fundamental analysis. All right, and technical analysis is more based on averages, statistics, support and resistance, and basically things that you can find on the chart. Fundamental is the other way around. They can be reoccurrences, NFP, news, events, anything that you think that might have an impact from outside the world on the market. Okay, and as I was started to explain, so the signal here is produced on a certain levels that are presented here and on a certain price. Now, if I'm looking at the price here, and I would look at the things that are written here, you see what is written here? The market has already reached a key level. Therefore, when you're picking a signal, okay, it does make a difference when it was produced. If it was produced 5-6 hours ago, or it was produced 2 minutes ago, right? Because if it was produced at just a minute or 2 minutes ago, everything is still fresh, and the price that it was based upon, the price that the signal was based upon, still has the potential to get to certain levels. As you can see here, if I'm looking at Brent oil or crude oil, it seems like those levels has already passed. In other words, the signal, its analysis is partially futile. Okay? Could still give some assistance, but if I'll try and do it, right? It doesn't give me the signal. Now, let's go back and understand what a proper signal does and what it's supposed to do now that we know why this looks like that, and sometimes we have these numbers. Let's take maybe that. Right, so euro versus pound. Okay, the way that I did it is simply by clicking here on view signal. As you can see, all the levels here are still open. I'm going to expand it for my comfortability. You see that the validity here is daily. I'm going to go to the upper left and change the validity and change the time frame to match the validity. So I'm going to click here on the arrow, scroll down. Here we have a toggle as well, right? So I can see more of the time frames. So I'm going to click, go down to day, and then I'm going to see the levels that I wanted to see. Let's get rid of whatever's here. Okay, the things that I'm doing swiftly on the screen, to be honest, you don't need to know them. I will cover them later on as I will give a guide through about the toolbar. Now, as you saw, when I click here on the signal, it opens with this nice sidebar to the right. Then I can expand, and I've changed the validity to 1 day because in 1 minute, if I want to make a quick comparison on the levels that are here, as you can see, the top value here is 0.85720. It's not something that I can get to within the time frame that I'm looking at, so we're going to go to 1 day, and then I can quickly get to make this comparison and see how realistic that is for me. Of course, those preparations, guys, are only things that I do to check, and they do not determine if this signal is good or not. But as you've already understood by now, before I'm doing something, I'm just preparing the surface. Okay, so I want to check the levels here. Okay, it seems fine. We're going to look at support and resistance. Those level looks fine as well. I can place more lines by fetching here from the right-hand side. There is a tiny arrow here. If I click it, opens down a whole inventory, and I can keep on placing lines and see that it makes sense for me or not. Now, when I've checked the validity and I've checked support and resistance, at least one of the levels, we have here some nice key ingredients. We have the key level, the less than, and pivot point as well. And all is left for me to do is basically to buy or sell, right? So I can keep that stage and I can just click here signal. Okay, just to show you how simple that is, right? So I'm going to click here on view signal. I'm going to click here regardless of the lines and then sell or buy and open automatically here the order entry with predetermined take profit and stop loss, already showing me, by the way, my possible and profit loss, which is extremely helpful because this can be adjustable to determine my R&R ratio, my risk reward ratio. Yeah, my risk reward ratio, how much I can lose, how much I can gain, perfect. Then I can exit and I can make this comparison to both of the scenarios, just clicking here, and it's already on, right? Again, that doesn't determine if the signal is good or not, but that just lets you understand where you're standing before you're executing that position. Okay, and of course, as you can see, I am practically choosing here from a list of all the assets that has signal beside those who already passed, or I can go outside and just a second, I can fold it down, right? You see, I can fold it down. See how easy that was? And then I can just pick something. You see, this is one way. This is one way from here. This is another way. Just clicking here on the lightning icon here, it does the same thing. I can expand, gonna change the validity again. Oh, it's already on day. Yeah, and then I can place the line, make my comparison, then sell or buy. Right, and what it does, the take profit is automatically closing my position with the profit. Stop loss is automatically closing my position with the loss. As long as it reached the level that it's written here. Of course, if I'm buying something, my intention is that the value will keep on increasing. And when I'm selling something, my intention is that the value will decrease. And if, God forbid, I took a buy and it goes down, I'll have a loss. And if I took a sell and it goes up, I will have a loss. Okay. Are we okay with that? Do we have any questions? Something that didn't fully make sense? Anything regarding the signal section, guys, before I carry on with the ease? Because I just want to also introduce you to things that can be helping you with fundamentals. And this is more technical as I've explained. Oh, we have it back, right? Is that, it seems so, right? Crude oil, it seems so. You see, there is a signal now. It was just produced just a few minutes ago. All right, while we are explaining, there is a new one. Yeah, and what I wanted to say is signals, even if something has already passed, could be refreshed, just as we as we witnessed, okay, and then we can have it again. We have another signal here, no problem. Right, so we're going to carry on with ease just to the section where I can show you fundamental analysis. As you can see, it's divided to two: technical, which we saw, and fundamental, which we are going to see. And I'm just going to say that the signals here are not by AvaTrade, they are by Trading Central. You can click here on the bubbly thing and read down what it says. In here in the news section, right, so that's just underneath the signal section, right? So in here it's also divided to categories. We have here all forex, stocks, commodities, indices, and crypto. By clicking on the article, let's find us something that has more beneficiary than just one related instrument, such as this. I love the pre-market Asia brief. Okay, because if I click it and I scroll down, okay, I can see that by here clicking on the related instruments, it's going to show me what can have potential impact by that article. Okay, and so on with other things, right? If I'm clicking on oil, Brent oil, so in here it's going to appear. Let's see if there is anything else. Okay, this is also Asia market. This is also Asia market. All right. You guys understood the idea, right? You can refresh here. This is as well by Trading Central. Okay. Now, news section is properly the what I said. This is fundamental analysis related. Technical is what we said is in the chart. There is one more thing that I'm going to show you that can assist you with fundamental analysis, and that's of course the economic calendar. So underneath, if I'll go one more down, we have the discovery, we have analysis view, market buzz, forex features idea, and the economic calendar. Now the economic calendar can be categorized as well. What I'm gonna do in a minute, we're just gonna let it, there we go. Let's reset the whole thing. Okay. Now if I scroll down, we have a few filters here that we can use. We can use the importance filter, which lets me understand if the event that I'm monitoring is either low impact, medium impact, or high impact. Okay, NFP and what we saw just a minute ago is obviously a high impact. That means that we can anticipate the market to fluctuate aggressively after those kind of announcements. Okay, maybe we'll open an asset and see what the impact was at the time of the occurrence. Scrolling further down, we have here the countries, so I can just pick what it's more relevant for me. Let's just a second. Let's go with a pound, and with there's nothing here today. That's completely fine. By the way, if I'm not only looking at today, let's suppose I want to prepare myself for another week, 2 weeks forward. What I'm going to do is I'm going to click on today, and I'm going to click on the date that I want to filter, and then it's going to show me that this is basically the dates that I'm looking at potentially can have fundamental occurrences. Okay, lined here by the date, lined here by the date, and lined by the impact, how big the impact is. Now, as you can see, every event has few elements that I can rely on. There are also cool things here that you can click and just help you get more accessibility to the trade, right? If I'm looking at the pound, I can click here on the bar here, and it's going to show me by clicking on the impact what can be the impact. What we again, those are tips, okay, not financial advice, as I've explained. It can show me here some statistics, the price chart, and the event chart. Okay, and I can book it to my calendar as well. This is a new function as far as I'm concerned, which can be extremely helpful because if you add it to your calendar, later on you can know, okay, I don't have to analyze each and every hour. I can just analyze what's relevant for me. Yeah, super, super comfortable. Now, as I mentioned, there's a few elements here that each event has, which is the last result, what we expect that will happen. So we have last time, what we expect, which is called forecast, and the actual will only appear after the occurrence will take place. Here, as I've explained, it's how big the event is, supposedly, and here is a brief explanation. What else I want to show you? This is all. This is sorry guys, just a second. I have to. Okay, right. So, do we have any questions related to here? Any questions? To be honest, any questions about anything that I've said so far? Anything? The economic calendar, the signals, the news section, anything at all? We are good. All right. Thank you, John. So let's carry on. By clicking here on the trade with confidence, AvaTrade, it just throws me back to the default screen, and then I can carry on with ease. I'm gonna click here on the two tiny arrows to expand the chart back on. What else? Oh, let's look for. I think we pretty much concluded the first part, and then we can carry on with ease to the second. Yeah, let's get rid of that for the time being, and let's look ourselves for an asset to analyze. I think gold was quite interesting yesterday and this morning, isn't it? Yes, yeah. All right, so we're gonna go through a nice guide through to understand how to utilize the toolbar here. By the way, I didn't have to search manually for gold. I could just put down gold, pick it from the list, no problem, right? And yeah, so we're gonna write down here gold before we begin. We're gonna do some nice preparations. Okay, so there is a question. I don't know. He accessed the web trader. How come I didn't get those questions? So I gotta get used to this interface, guys. If I'm not responding to something, just send it again, because again, this interface is pretty new to me and it seems like I'm missing things. Just a second. No, but I'm gonna get to all of those. Emily, want risk money management. That's fine. Steven, you have no sound. Well, don't really have any way to help you with that. The access to web trader. Okay, so the web trader is usually coming from Dilo Shen, right? Dilo Shen Govender, right? So you're asking how to access the web trader, and I've explained in the beginning, Mr. Dilo Shen, that it should be in your website by default. So just by logging into avatrade.com with your email and password, you should be able to see that. But if you don't, okay, you can contact customer service, and either they will contact your account manager that will apply it on your behalf, or they'll do it by themselves, and you will have the web trader. That's what's supposed to happen. Okay. Yeah. We have another question here. Yes, there is a recording of this. Absolutely, Mr. Tony. Okay, there will be a recording. It will be on YouTube, hopefully later today, but I don't want to give any guarantees. Right, right. Okay, so let's carry on as I said. Actually, let's just begin with the preparations. We're going to write down a couple of things here. So we have time. Sorry, we have target. We have to begin with the target. That's how it is. Target, time, movements, and units. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna have a nice guide through about the toolbar here, and then we'll dive down and try and compose a position. Okay, and understand the logic behind those decisions. So here we saw the search bar. Here we already saw that we can change the time frame. Here we can change from candles to bars or to a line. Okay, there are many things. There is certain advantage using the candles over the line and vice versa. There is here the crosshair. This is, guys, why you can't get information from the candles. If you're pointing on them with your hand, you must change from no crosshair to crosshair. And in here, you can change the layout, right? So if I don't want to just monitor gold, I want to have gold and God knows, a NASDAQ, right? I can change that as well. I can make it Apple. And if I choose while I have this light blue frame here, okay, which is marking the chart that I'm dealing with. Okay, if I click, so if for instance I marked on Apple and I click buy or sell, watch what happens, right? And there you go. And if I click on gold and then buy or sell, watch what happens. Yeah, I gotta make sure I'm on the right thingy, otherwise I don't want to execute mistakenly another asset, right? Can you tell us what is mobile app for AvaTrade? Coming from Salvaraju. Right, Salavaraju, you're asking what is the mobile app for AvaTrade, and the answer is, as I showed in the beginning, the answer is AvaGo. Right, that's how it looks like. That's how it's written. AvaGo. You just do it on your device, and it should appear like that. I don't know if you're using Apple interface or Android interface. Okay. Yeah, as I was explaining, keep going to the right. We have here, we saw time frames, candlesticks, crosshair, layout. We've reached indicators. We're going to play with it in a minute. And in here, we already saw that. We have the nice inventory, which we can play with and place all kind of lines to remember certain levels on the chart. We don't really need two screens now, just a hustle. There we go. Okay, we're gonna begin with gold. Okay, let's begin. All right, so first of all, regardless if this is a buy or a sell, let's suppose that I am thinking, guys, that the gold can proceed going up. Let's suppose that this is a result of something fundamental. Okay, I'll give you a nice hint. It happened on Friday, and it became higher than expected, which signifies that the dollar can be in positive momentum, and according to that, you see gold responding to that. There is a question here from Rafanetsa, right? Rafanetsa, what is the limit of funds for AvaTrade account? I think that there is no limit. There used to be a limit. I think it was 50 million or somewhere there, or 75 million. I can't be too sure. Dollars, right? I think it was 50 or 75 million dollar per account. But right now, I don't think there is a limit. Yeah, I hope it meets your expectations, right? Yeah. So as you can, the red candle showing us that gold has been in bearish momentum. Yesterday it was going down, as you can see here. Okay, let's suppose that I think that this is a buy. This is a good opportunity to buy, right? Went down, now it's recovering up. Okay, no problem. Now, by simply thinking that it can go up, there is no actual guarantee it will keep going up, right? And we understand that without specifying how much up, we can't really use this as analysis, right? Because up can be up to here, and then the down will be down to here. So by just thinking up, it doesn't suffice. It doesn't suffice. It needs to be up to a certain price, up to a certain momentum. It needs to be specified. So the direction itself, or the other way around. If I sell, okay, I'm gonna this. It seems to me like generally, it seems like it's a downtrend. Okay, no problem. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take a sell here. It will go down here. Okay, and then it will go up. There is never one trend, guys. Never, never. You're not gonna go to any of the assets and see one candle going up, right? There are always fluctuations. That's the nature of things. Now, I need to just capture the direction for the time that I'm expecting to. Whether if it's a year, I still need to know what kind of length I'm aiming for, right? Okay, now for that, I need also a number to aim for. So for instance, let's suppose that I'm going to take a buy here and I want to reach, even though I think that this is already all times high, right? Let's see. Yeah, most definitely. Most definitely. You see, there is no previous record for gold being this high. Oh, there's no way for me to drag backward. Never mind. You'll have to believe me then, right? You see, those are months. This is 2017. It's approximately 7 years ago. And yet gold is not even near that. So this is the highest that it's been. There is a question from Fidelis, right? Is there a minimum to invest at a time, assuming my account is $250? No, I don't think you'll have any issues with that. Could be, could be. I think the minimum, well, I'm not really sure about that. I don't want to, God forbid, mislead you, but I think the minimum is 100, I'm guessing, 100 or 50. I don't know. I don't want to again mislead you. You should ask your account manager and get a more accurate answer. As I said, because this is all times high, and I have a reason to believe that gold will proceed going up at some point, maybe even now. The direction without to specify till what point or so. Oh, there is another question here. How long does the account investor without? I really don't know, Fidelis. This is a very, very common question. Fidelis here is asking how long does the account assist a new investor without knowledge of how to invest? Well, that depends on you, but I do suggest you'll get yourself an account manager and start the process, and then you'll see by your performance how good you are. Okay, that also depends on your background and some other things as well. Yeah, as I was explaining, gold here seems like it's recovering up. We're going to try and take advantage, thinking it will go up to a certain level. Let's suppose that we think it's going to get up to here. Okay, I'm going to change it to the bare minimum and see. Okay, if it gets to here, how much will I make? Can I even know that? Yeah, well, one of the ways that I can know that is clicking on the take profit, put here 2020, 2205, and I see that I can make $40. Well, guys, I'm not really happy with making $40. Okay, this is not an amount that I'll be satisfied with. Therefore, I need to begin with something that I do, and then I can design my position accordingly. So, for instance, let's go with $2,000, and because gold seems like it's still hesitance, we're gonna pick time length of 1 month, right? Yeah. Now, this time is the target needs to be depending on the account, right? If I'm planning to make a certain amount, it needs to be realistic. Later, we'll discover something called margin impact. That is actually the necessary amount for me to open this position. So it needs to be realistic with the amount that I have, and it needs to be realistic with something called risk money management. But never mind that. We're going to get to that in a minute. All right, the time length is based on my ambitions. Okay, so $2,000 if I make it in a month might be okay. What if I make it in a year? That's not really okay. I guess this is what it comes to be per month, right? Let's, oh, supposed to be a calculator here somewhere. That just doesn't want to appear. There we go. Right, so if I do this in a year, it's not as beneficial as I would want to. But in a month, it seems okay, right? Of course, I would want to make 2,000 in a minute, but again, it needs to be as realistic as possible. The higher I am, the higher I aim, probably the higher it will take me to, the more difficult it will take me to get to. Okay, just a second. I want to go back to the question section. Okay, right. Now I have to discover the movement. How can I do that? I can simply look at the previous candle and say, okay, I think because yesterday gold dived down, if I'm looking at here, see there are certain levels, which is here written here on the left upper corner, which is open, close, high and lows, right? And if I'm writing down, the open here is 2183.5. Close here is 2156.9. High is 2184.4. And the low is 2150.5. Now I can just subtract what is in between. Our calculator, where is it? There we go. I can just subtract what is in between, and I'm supposed to approximate how much it can move. Problem is, A, I'm looking at days. B, one candle is never an indication for an average. To take an average, I need several candles. Therefore, I'm going to change to month. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to click here on FX indicators, and then where it says time to filter, I'm simply going to put down AVE, and then I'm going to click here on the average true range and drag it to the right. Now I'm going to make sure I'm looking at wielders. That includes the whole sum from bottom to top and what is in between. And I'm going to change the length to just 10 months, or maybe, you know what, just 4 months, okay, because they're fundamental occurrences. And the ATR, let's keep it 1 for now. All right, now it measures what happens in the previous last 4 months. I can extend it, by the way. Let's make it 5. Let's make it 5 for the time being. Yeah, it didn't change a lot. As you can see, I have a reason to believe that the higher it will get. Unfortunately, I can't really see the number that I'm aiming for. Let's somehow, well, it doesn't let me pass that. Okay, what about now? Not really. There we go. Nope, come on. There we go. Now, so if it moves 122 and it keeps going up, and I have a reason to believe $50 higher is something that is achievable. Okay, we're going to try and change that. There we go. And now if I'm going to put here 2213, that's going to show me that I can make $50. Okay, now I know that this number in here, the $50 higher, is in my range. Okay, as you can see, the ATR is average true range. This is actually what it does is it takes 5 previous candle, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it's telling me, Danny, you should know that according to those previous months, we consider gold to be moving approximately $122 per ounce, which is the difference. You see the price here. This is the price for 1 unit, right? So if I'm aiming for $122, it will be approximately here. But the problem is 122, that's 285, right? 285. Yeah, but the problem is, you agree with me, guys, that there is no actual guarantee that this is the length that it's going to move in a month. It could be a little less than that, as this is an average. This is not a guaranteed movement. Nobody can tell me, Danny, gold is going to surely move. If you're going to go to the 1st of April and you're going to measure from the 1st of March to the 1st of April, you're going to see 122.96, right? Not even close. Could move a little more than that, could move a little less than that. So in advance, I'm aiming for $50 instead of 122, considering that if this is a realistic number, 50 is most definitely realistic. And I'm going to put here in my movement 50, right? So the ATR is one thing I rely on, and my PAM, my potential average movement, is just sum of the ATR. Now, the units here is determined by the target. What's going to happen is I'm going to take the target, and in brackets, I'm going to put summary, and I'm going to divide that by my movements, which also known as price difference. What difference? The difference between the entry to my gold price, okay? Which in this case is 21.63, and my gold price is 22.13. Now, equals units or lot size. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to divide simply 2,000 by 50. And how much is that, guys? How much is that, guys? Should be simple, right? Let's do it together. Our precious calculator. Let's divide 2,000 by 50. How much is that? 40. Perfect. Now, supposedly, if I'm going to put here 40, I should see here 2,000. Let's see if it will work or not. Yeah, like magic. As you can see, why is that working so well? Because when I'm holding 1 unit, right, and it travels across $50, I'm gonna make $50. Same vice versa, by the way, with the stop loss. So if I'm looking at this number, and I'm gonna put this, let's make it $50 down, right? It's showing me that $50 down can also be the same potential loss. And now I can, again, as before, I can compare my R&R, my risk-reward ratio. And I can think, okay, this is my green line. This is where I aim for. This is where, God forbid, if it goes below that, I want to close my position with the stop loss. So right now, let's review the situation here. Let's review quickly. Let's recap. Okay, to begin with, we had gold. Gold was an asset that we picked. We look at the levels. We understood, okay, this could be a good opportunity to make money. How much we want to make? The goal was $2,000. In a month, as you can see here, this is the time length that we choose. So we change the validity here to 1 month, and we're looking at monthly candle. Now each candle here is 1 month. This is March, February, January, December, right, and so on and so on. And yeah, now to aim for a certain price, we apply the ATR, which is right here at the bottom, right? You see there is the ATR here. And I've modified from 14 candles because I don't want to go a year and a half later, because a year and a half ago, things were a little different. So I went only five months far, 5 candles. I click here, save. and it's showing me that the average is 122. Now, based upon that, I took half of the ATR. It's not even half. Half will be 62 and a half or 63. I took 50. It's less than half because I want to be cautious. And considering 50, I need 40 units, 40 ounces of gold. 40 ounces of gold. Okay. Now, my next check before I carry on with the position are two things. A, how much I can lose. And B, because I know how much I can gain, but how much can I lose? I also know that as well. It's written down here. But the question is not really how much I can lose, is really if I am happy with how much I can lose, right? If I'm happy with the risk money management. Or in other words, is my exposure okay? And the second thing here, actually, let's replace them, right? I think it's more important to know that we even have the ability to open the position. So, do I have enough budget? How can I know that? This is very easy. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take the price per unit, which in this particular case is 2163. Okay, and what I'm going to do is multiply that by the 40 that we are supposed to acquire, and that's worth certain value. Okay, so in this case, it's already written here for MetaTrader 4 and MetaTrader 5 users. This is not something that unfortunately you can find there. This is something you have to do on your own. But using the web trader gives you that automatically. So the value here is 85,000. Okay. There is leverage because we are CFDs. No, we're not trading here regular stocks. We have a leverage. Okay. You're multiplied. Your account is multiplied as it's written here. An option to open a bigger position in your account balance by having your broker multiplying your investment amount. Okay, and in this particular case, because this is 1 to 20, we're simply going to divide 85,500 by 20. And again, the result is already here, right? Now, just to be sure, even though again, this is calculated for me already, but okay, let's do it together. As you can see, it matches the number here. We divide by 20, it matches the number down here, up here. Okay, very, very simple. And it appears to be that I can take the position quite comfortably. I can even have two. Okay, right. So in other words, margin impact equals necessary amount to take the position, right? Very, very simple. Now, is my exposure okay? So, balance of $10,000 multiplied by 0.02,000% equals 20%, right? 20%. Now I'm going to ask you guys, is 20% worth, sorry, let me rephrase. Is 20% an acceptable exposure? Sorry to interrupt. I couldn't attend the webinar from the beginning. Will the recording be available? Yes, Louis, as I said before, of course. And where could you find it? You can find it on YouTube. You can find it on YouTube in our channel. Comfortably, should be even today, but again, no guarantees. Guys, I am truly sorry that the last bit was a bit swiftly. As I told you before in the beginning, I had to get used to this interface because it's a bit different. Okay, but I hope it wasn't too brief. I am actually going to stay another couple of minutes because I was late, so I'm going to stay a couple of minutes to answer questions, guys. Before that, is that understood? What we have here, this bit with the four ingredients, this bit with the calculation, this bit here. What is everything understood? Do we have any questions? Something that wasn't, clear that needs to be connected? Any questions, guys? Take advantage, really. I'm staying here for another few minutes, as I said before, so no problem. If there are any questions, I'm happy to. The recorded will be on YouTube, guys. The recording will be on YouTube. There's a question from Saliva. You make a strategy. Right, so Saliva, you're asking how to make a strategy. And yeah, well, Saliva, the way that we wrote down here is exactly how you make a strategy. That's exactly how you make a strategy. Okay? You're going to take this composition, this four elements, target, time, movements, and units, right? TTMU. And to make a strategy, you just have to find harmony with just, I don't know. You can trade only one position if you really want to, but this is how you make a strategy. You're going to take a bunch of those compositions, you're going to line them down, and just prioritize. Okay, this position can give me this much, and I can lose that much. Okay, this position is going to cost me this much. And you're going to compare all those configurations to a point that it makes sense, right? Everything here is adjustable. And making a strategy using this, you can just imagine, I mean, I don't want to get rid of everything here, but you can just imagine somehow that you have some of those. You can line them down in an Excel. You can just write down the other assets if you want. You can trade the same assets. You can trade as many positions as you want. You can just write down here. Let's say you want to divide your 2000 to, let's say, 500 here, another 500 here. Then obviously the numbers will change accordingly, and you can just, as I said, just make your own strategy. All right, on YouTube, AvaTrade, where can I find my account manager? Yeah, usually your account manager should find you, but you can most definitely go to the customer service and just ask them for an assignment if you've made a deposit and you're ready to get going, and they will either assign an account manager for you, or they will, or he will contact you. Guys, do we have Saliva? Is this any helpful? No, have time to trade. That's completely fine. Again, this is not something that I can teach you in the minute and a half that I have left for the webinar. I'm just giving you here the idea. You have an account manager. I'm sure you know associates who are trading. Take this and slowly evolve. Guys, do we have anything else at this stage before we say goodbye? Anything else? With pleasure, Mitchell. So I wish you all fruitful week. I'm sorry again for the delay. I hope that things that we spoke about today could contribute something to your progress. And that's it. I wish you all best of luck. Enjoy the rest of the week. And you're all more than welcome to join us tomorrow with a live Q&A. Other than that, have an excellent trading journey and have a good day.